This episode is brought to you by Love Hurts. Kiwi Kwan has had quite a career, from childhood roles in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies to a recent Academy Award win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But now Ki finally stars as a leading man in the film Love Hurts. Love Hurts is the perfect date night movie with its mix of over-the-top action, comedy, and a ton of heart. Love Hurts, only at theaters February 7th.
Are negative Google reviews hurting your business? Don't let unfair feedback cost you customers. At Webamax, we specialize in removing false, misleading, and damaging reviews so your online reputation stays strong. Our expert team works quickly and legally to clean up your digital presence, helping you rebuild trust. Visit us on the web at www.gowebamax.com. That's GOWEBIMAX.com, or text us for a free quote at 856-840-8343. Don't let bad reviews define you. Get immediate help from Webamax.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
How you like those apples, NFL? You think you own the sports calendar? You think you can come to the NBA's playground on Christmas and you think they ain't gonna get their lick back? Take that. Super Bowl pre-up week. NFL thinks this is all about them, and then bam! NBA has the biggest trade in history go down Saturday night. Harry, Zach Lavine is in Sacramento now.
Man, I'm gonna miss Zach. Zach was a great scorer with an arsenal of moves, and even though that's all he brought, we're gonna miss that in Chicago. I'm gonna miss Zach in Sacramento. I can't wait to discuss how we're gonna talk about all the picks Bulls got back from trading Zach. Right? That had to be what happened. You don't lose a star and get nothing back, right? Or at least not get that much back, I think. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let's do the introductions. I can't wait to see what we got back.
Harry from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, usually bringing up our White Sox coverage, but he is a staunch Bulls fan, so he's going to tell us why the Bulls won that deal. Well, if they won that deal or not. And as always, my boy, Tape Boy Fresh, bringing all the noise for the Cleveland Cavaliers for the That's Rather Cavalier podcast. Tape, man, what's going on?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? What's up, Harry? How y'all doing, man?
Tape?
Just here since last week, man. I know the Cavs haven't lost a game since last Monday. We was playing the Pistons last time we was on air. Won that game and won every game since. You was up by 50 yesterday in the game. I mean, granted, playing the Dallas Mavericks minus Luka, minus Kyrie, no AD yet. But, so it's been a good week for the Cavs after coming in to the show last week. We was losers of 3 straight at that time. Mm-hmm. So it's good to be back on the other side of the winning.
I think the Cavs are doing the anti-Milwaukee Bucks right now. We'll talk about that in a second. But first things first, the biggest news in the Central Division is definitely this trade. Harry, we touched on it in a second, before we, skipped around for a little bit. Bulls trade Zach Lavine. They've been trying to trade him for 2 years. They got him about the paint. He's going back to reunite with DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento, a part of a 3-team deal, a mega trade. Sacramento was sending De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio. The Bulls get a handful of players. I think highlighted the best player they got back is Kevin Huerter. Or Herter. How do you ever say his name? I can't remember.
Right,
Herter. Yeah, he's from the University of Maryland, so I heard his name a lot when he's in college.
Kevin Herter. He's pretty. He's a pretty decent NBA player, right? I mean, he's
a great shooter.
He's a shooter.
He like that. He like that boy that played for Miami. What's his name? The Heat that went to Michigan.
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, he like that, but got more handles and stuff. He can get to the basket.
So you got a bona fide shooter. You got shooters. You need shooters. You need guys who can get their own shot in some respects, right? Sort of like what Zach Lavine was, but he's a lot cheaper. And you do have a pick you didn't have the day before. Harry, this has got to be a good move for the Bulls, right?
No, it's an absolute terrible move.
What?
It's one of the worst moves I've ever seen, and it's frustrating being a Bulls fan.
Hey.
We got back Zach Collins, who is a mid-level power forward that's honestly a backup on most teams. Even the Wizards, he'd probably be a backup. We got Trey Jones, the little brother of Tyus Jones, right? So we didn't even get the good Jones. We got the smaller, worse Jones. I don't understand how we're getting smaller. Then we got Kevin Huerter, who is a starting caliber 3 specialist, but that's all it is. Do Bulls need more of that? Absolutely. Does that mean he's going to take us anywhere? Absolutely not. And then we got our own first-round pick back for next year from San Antonio, which now they're selling as a narrative for tank for Cooper Flag. I was like, I don't know how we can tank for Cooper Flag. Washington keeps getting blown out by 40 every first quarter, amongst other teams. So I think we're already out of the tank for Cooper Flag sweepstakes. I don't even think we're a bottom 9 team. Oh, see, you was about to lie. And I might cut you.
The worst team don't get the number 1 pick. You still gonna be way up high in the lottery. That's your chance tanking. You don't gotta have the worst record.
You make a good point, Tate, because the Bulls, one of the greatest offseason moves in Chicago sports history was the Bulls getting the number 1 pick in the 2009. Was it 2009 draft? The 2000
I think so. Or Rose. I think it was 07.
07 draft. And the Bulls they weren't a terrible team. They were a pretty average mid team. They didn't have a worse record then.
Problem is we got a lot of solid backup guys. Bulls aren't even bottom 5 in the East, let alone in the league. You still got the bottom 5 teams in the West, ironically, which includes the Warriors, crazy as it sounds, but they're a team doing it in reverse. Bulls, Warriors, Spurs, who else? Raptors, I guess you can count 76ers, Hawks. We're all in this limbo. And this is the part where teams say, all right before All-Star break or right before the trade deadline, do you want to do enough to try to push for playoffs? Or do you want to say, hey, let's tank and let's see how worse we can get? And Bulls, as always, choose, hey, let's tank. Let's see how worse we can get. When actually Shams put out a report today that said Golden State has been calling every single team. Like, hey, you got a star you want to trade? Trade to us. Hey, you got a star you want to trade? As funny as that sounds, that's what I thought Bulls would do. But I keep forgetting who our owner is. So that's not going to happen. So it's a bad if you're going to tank and you know you're going to tank, do it off season. Don't wait till the season starts and then start to do it, because it's hard to do it right now when we're still good enough to maybe make that play-in seed, but we're not good enough to make a top seed, especially once you move Zach. They probably are going to move Vuk. I can only assume they're going to move White, and then maybe we'll see what happens from there. But
who is White that you're saying they're probably going to move?
Kobe.
No. No, they're not.
Why? Why wouldn't they?
He's the future.
Of what?
The franchise.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
They've already started talking about putting a statue out there.
Okay.
For Kobe.
Okay. You know, you UNC guys are crazy. That's why y'all got smoked the other day. Because y'all are nuts. Y'all got smoked.
Smoke.
I thought I was watching the Wizards.
They got smoked. They got smoked by the new face of the franchise, right. Cooper Flag.
Yeah. I was like, they're getting smoked and they ain't even second half yet. What are y'all, the Wizards? So what is happening right now?
Fake news.
But,
Yeah, go on.
But yeah, Bulls are in that limbo where they have to decide. And what's frustrating about the Bulls, it's not like the Suns where they're in limbo, but they have all these massive contracts. So they're like, all right, let's unload all these contracts and then tank. Bulls don't even pay anyone. The only person we paid is Zach. So we're unloading guys that are on team-friendly deals just to maybe see if we can tank 5-6 spots. I don't seriously think we're in the Cooper flag race. But we'll see what happens. I'll be shocked if we get number one. Bulls do love their Duke players, but I just don't see us getting Cooper flag. But I hope his daddy's like Deion Sanders and it's like, oh, y'all ain't drafting my son. He has to go to Bulls because ain't no way I want my son to go to Wizards. That is a death for any player. Ironically enough, Spurs still have a chance to get Cooper flag more than the Bulls, and they just traded for De'Aaron Fox, but they might do better. But back to the trade, I don't understand how Spurs can trade for Fox and not lose Chris Paul. So that already just like thumbs up, high five to the Spurs GM.
You wanted the Bulls to get Chris Paul or something? What's the deal?
I don't understand Chris Paul being there with De'Aaron Fox there.
No,
even if they move De'Aaron Fox to a hybrid point guard, shooting guard role like they're doing with or they did now that they traded Luka, like they were doing with Kyrie on Dallas. I just don't think it works with Chris Paul because De'Aaron Fox is more than a shooter.
He's there to mentor De'Aaron Fox. Chris Paul is directly attributed to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's SGA. Directly attributed to
Chris
his
Paul
growth.
is going to be starting next to De'Aaron. I don't think he's coming off bench. He's already starting before. And they let go Trey Jones. I don't think Chris Paul is going to – because you know how Chris Paul is. I don't think he's going to stand there and say, okay, I'll come off the bench for Fox. He was already starting. I think he's going to start.
I think he still will start.
Too. And I just don't think that dynamic works with Fox at the two because he's a slasher, a scorer, but he's not a shooter like a Kyrie is. It don't have to work because San Antonio's expectation was not to make the playoffs this year. They're already slightly ahead of schedule by winning just as many games as they won all last year to date. They just want to get better for the future. De'Aaron Fox makes them better?
He does make them better, but that don't mean that he's going to start over Chris Paul. He's going to start with Chris Paul and still in the locker room and during, off day, he can learn a lot from Chris Paul.
I think that helps them.
He never had nobody in Sacramento.
More games, though. I don't think that helps them win less games. I think that helps them win more.
They don't have to win less games. They need for the maturation of De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox been in the league like 6 years. How much maturity does that nigga need?
It hasn't been 6 years.
I don't even like that answer. Y'all talking about vets like they rookies. Like he's been in the league how long?
But he's 24 years old though. It ain't like you can stop getting knowledge.
I just think it's not beneficial to San Antonio to have kept Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox if you're not going to make playoffs anyway, and the goal is to tank for Cooper flag. I think they just saw De'Aaron Fox say out loud on some interview, I would love to go to San Antonio since Sacramento won't pay me, and their eyes lit up because they were focused on flag, and now they're like, ooh, we can get Fox, and I think that threw a monkey wrench in whatever plans they have. So in my opinion, they're probably just winging it right now and seeing what sticks to the wall. But I don't think they plan on getting Fox because I think everybody thought he would sign an extension even if he doesn't get the Supermax. And Sacramento, just like Dallas, panicked. I was like, all right, well, if you're not going to sign the regular max, let's see what we can get for you. And boy, did Kings get a haul. Kings did it right. Mavs didn't. Kings got Zach Lavine, so they still made up for the scoring. They got Sidi Sissoko, which is some Frenchman, because no one cares about Frenchmen in the NBA unless your name is Wembanyama. Then they got 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. So they lost a star, got a star back, and still got 3 first-round picks, while Bulls lost a star, claimed they're tanking, and didn't get the picks you're supposed to get while you tank. This is so frustrating being a Bulls fan.
So last thing on this trade, moving forward, you still got Vucci, man, who's in demand around the league, right?
Absolutely.
You got Lonzo Ball, who still should command some trade interest, and you say there's some other players who still should move off of. I disagree that you have those, but neither here nor there. There's still time for the Bulls to get those picks, those coveted picks to help them tank in the best way. But for this season right now, with the roster you have as composed right now, who's the starting 5?
Oh, starting 5 is easy. It's because Lavine was out a lot. He's only played over 70 games, over 67 games once in his Bulls tenure, and same thing with T. Wolves. So there's been a lot of lineups without Zach Lavine. It's AO starting at the point, Giddey at the 2, Terry at the Kobe at the 3, Pat Williams at the 4.
Wait.
Kobe at the 3.
You said Kobe at the 3?
He runs the 3. When Zach's out, he runs the 3 because AO's too small. Giddey isn't really a 3 because he's more of the point forward, so he kind of is a 2 and 3. But they usually have Kobe guarding the small forwards, Pat at the 4, even though in my opinion he's an undersized 4, and then Vuk at the 5.
So y'all haven't learned your lesson. Pat needs to be on the bench.
I agree, but they brought him in thinking he's going to be the next claw stretch 4 because of how all these NBA GMs draft. They take one thing and then they say we can develop all the other stuff. They saw Zach Lavine's athleticism, says we can develop him into a scorer, which they did. They saw Pat Williams' defense. They saw his hand size. They saw kind of athletic and thought we can develop him into a shooter, and hopefully that leads to a scorer because that's what somehow it worked with Spurs and Claw, and it just didn't work out. But then they extended him knowing it didn't work out, which, again, why it's frustrating being a Chicago fan. I would have let him go. I don't think we needed to keep Pat. I don't think he's seeing $80 million from any other team, but he was Act's first draft pick, and maybe there was some kind of emotional attachment there. Like, all right, Pat, we still believe in you. I don't think anyone in Chicago does, but they gave him $80 million, which is crazy.
B. Foster, I know you was watching this Piston game. That's why you're a little bit late. But do you have anything on this mega trade?
Involving De'Aaron Fox and all them? Yeah, it's kind of confusing because, right now they're out. I think they're like 12th in the West. And the only thing they're going to accomplish by bringing him in is make it to where they're good enough to not probably not get a number 1 pick, but also probably still bad enough to where they won't even be in the play, like maybe the play-in. I don't know. It just depends on how it all works out. But I think they definitely are. They reacted to the fact that Fox said that he would be willing to go there, because I thought all the smoke was him going back to Houston, where he's from. I mean, it's in Texas, but I think he's from Houston or Dallas or. Yeah, he's from somewhere in Texas, so I don't know. It was odd.
Speaking of that, your Pistons are playing right now. I think you are in halftime. What's the score?
It is 89-89, and we're about halfway through the third quarter.
The Pistons this past week, the Pistons and Bulls did play. I believe what was it, 3-4 days ago?
Okay.
That was Sunday.
Sunday, right after that right before that mega deal. Shout out to Zach Lavine, new dad again, but then he got traded. His new kid would never know about Chicago.
Never.
That's messed up.
That's crazy.
I feel bad for the boy. So who won that game between the Bulls and the Pistons?
Detroit. We won by 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So the Bulls covered.
Yeah, if it was indeed 8, yeah. You guys take a lot of threes. Oh my God.
Analytics. That's the new thing. That's Billy Donovan's new offense.
The Bulls are one of the leading teams in pace. You got to be ready. We shoot.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I say we probably won't be able to tank for Cooper, right? Because we just keep launching threes. Boston didn't start it. Golden State started it. Boston injected it with steroids. And then if you remember the finals last year, the top 3 teams in 3-point attempts were Boston, Dallas, and Thunder. 2 of those top 3 teams made the finals. Once all the GMs saw that, it's green light. Now everybody's launching threes. But the problem with my Bulls is they keep getting non-shooters like Giddey and still trying to run that 3-launching style. So it's going to be interesting how this season pans out and how the draft looks, because gone are the days of the Shaq types or even the Embiids. If you have all Embiid's inside game and can't shoot a 3, they won't take you. But if you can shoot a 3, you might sneak your way into the lottery. It's so crazy the last 2 years of drafting and what the league's turning into with all this 3-point launching and analytics.
But yeah, Bucci Mane had a triple-double yesterday. He was he even had 10 assists in that game, but
he had like 20 points, right? 20 points.
It was 20, 10, and 10, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see him doing that more with Zach gone, but it only lasts what? When's the deadline? This Thursday or next Thursday?
6.
The deadline is on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh wow!
No, I thought it was Thursday.
Oh, well,
I thought it was Thursday.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Deadline is Thursday at 3:00.
It's the 6, right? But the NBA is still taking over. The NBA is not is fed up with the NFL and their BS.
Well,
they're taking over their Super Bowl prep week.
People are fed up with Kansas City cheating. I forgot the Pro Bowl was on. I didn't know the Pro Bowl was on until somebody showed Jared Goff's Pro Bowl MVP trophy. I was like, oh, shoot, the Pro Bowl happened? Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. All right, so we got the Hawks and the Pistons, like you said. The Hawks got a 3-point lead, man. They playing tough. Trey letting y'all know. I mean, he's hot. He's hot again. Spurned.
I mean, I'm loving what's happening in my FanDuel with this game. I got Cade Cunningham for 20, Duran for 10 rebounds. Beasley went crazy, 6 threes. I am liking what's going on in this game. Keep it close. I don't want to see no blowouts. Let me do a live bet. But I'm listening.
We're not sponsored by one of those books, so calm down.
Yeah, they got it.
So we got Trae Young at 17 and 8 so far. Zach Richardshire. I hope I'm saying the young Frenchman's name's right. The first round draft pick for the Hawks. He's got
his brother's on the Thunder, right?
He has a brother.
Yeah, you know what? I think he does have a brother. Yeah.
That's part of why he went number 1, because he's got family already in the NBA, and like his dad was a pro too.
Oh, nepotism, right?
Facts.
Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, 18 and 13.
13 assists, yeah.
When he sees Trey, they both go crazy with the assists. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Only two turnovers. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this game. Let's come to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tate, you've been patiently waiting to talk about your boys. Those are the number 1 team in the division and still the number 1 team in the East, man. How was your week?
Number 1 team in the NBA, first team to 40 games.
Hey,
don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Don't mistake it.
Okay. Tell us about the week. How'd you all do so far?
When you opened up, I kind of alluded to some of it. Last week when we was doing the show, we were at that time currently on a 3-game losing streak. Had lost 3 straight games for the first time this season. We got some get right that evening. We talked about it on this show, like he talking about the Hawks and the Pistons at the time. The Cavs and Pistons were playing. The Cavs ultimately end up pulling that game out to take that W, and they've won all 3 games after that. So they're on a 4-game winning streak, with the Celtics coming to town tomorrow. So that'll be a tough one. Since we last talked, the Cavs officially have 3 All-Stars. Donovan Mitchell obviously is a starter. Darius Garland and Cleveland's best player with the highest ceiling, Evan Mobley, made his first All-Star game too. And Cade is balling. We were just talking about the 2021 draft, but now I think Evan Mobley is officially the best player from that draft as of right now. Cade is balling. Jalen Green is balling.
Whoa.
Over Cade.
No.
How?
Like he just got back from missing like half the season.
Who is that?
Mobley. Like Jared Allen was the only big for like the last.
He missed like 6 games, but he's the connector. He's the glue, and he has the highest upside still. And Cade's the baller.
Glue guys don't get.
Mobley be stat padding. Y'all be up like 40. He's still in getting.
Watch the trio. The Cavs would not trade Evan Mobley for Cade Cunningham. They would not ever.
What makes you think Detroit would trade Cade Cunningham for Evan
Mobley?
Mobley?
They wouldn't, but I'm speaking from the Cavs perspective.
Well, for one, y'all got Donovan. Y'all got Donovan Mitchell, so it wouldn't even. I
still think Cade's best position is a secondary playmaking 3 that can do everything. So
he has 13 assists tonight. Did you see that?
I heard that.
Secondary.
What is happening? The Cade will get like 20 by halftime and stop scoring and destroy my bet for 30 because he's so efficient right now. He might be one of the most, if not the most efficient player in the league right now.
and he deserves to be an all-star. I just threw some conversation spice on top of the meal right now, saying that Mobley is officially right now better than Cade from some great players. The first 3 players out that draft are all stars for the first time. I just think if you rank them right now, Mobley is 1, Cade is 2, Jalen Green is 3.
If Mobley was playing with the roster we have right now, would he be flourishing the way he is right now?
Of course he would.
With Tobias Harris and Tim
He wouldn't have to
Hardaway.
defer to his numbers would be even higher. He wouldn't have to defer to Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland.
Do you think they would make playoffs if Mobley was a star?
They'd be better than what Detroit's record is right now.
I disagree.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay.
You are out of control right now.
Wait, so hold on.
You are going crazy right now.
Who even plays point guard if you trade straight up Cade Cunningham for Mobley? Who plays point guard and creates anything? Anything?
No, I don't. That's a Detroit deficiency right now. So they'd have to figure that out. I mean, I agree, but I've said with Cade, Detroit needs a true point guard still, because again, I think Cade's best position is a secondary playmaker, the 3 position where he can shoot more, don't have to facilitate, and have more scoring responsibility and less.
He's one of the best passers in the league, though.
But he turns the ball over. He has a lot of turnovers too.
Halliburton, Trey, Cade Cunningham, top 3 passers in the league in whatever order you want to put them in. It's those 3. Halliburton, Trey, Cunningham, top 3 passers in the league, whatever order you want to put them in. Then Joker at 4. But Joker's a cheat code. All his passes are inside outside. He doesn't create like the other 3 do.
That could be true, but how many turnovers does Cade have?
He's gotten a lot better as of recently, but I get that. I get that. Can you imagine how many Mobley would have if he had to create?
I think but as a 4 or a 5, all his creation is plus.
But you said if you switch the 2, the Pistons will be better. So we looking at the surrounding talent. What would Mobley do to help them? I can't.
He played better defense.
He played some pretty good defense.
He probably go from averaging 19 and 9.5 to probably averaging 23 and 12. I don't know what Cade's averaging about 25 right now.
I've seen Evan Mobley missed like a month, and Cavs didn't skip a beat because Jared Allen kept getting 15 boards and 15 points.
During the 3-game losing streak, Mobley missed 2 games. He hasn't missed, like I say, I bet he's missed about 6 games. You didn't see him miss a month. That didn't happen.
Jared Allen makes up a lot for when Mobley. Not that Mobley's bad. I'm not saying Mobley's bad, but Mobley or Allen, one of the 2, is a luxury piece for that team because you guys have a squad. And when Mobley leaves, Jared Allen doesn't skip a beat. Now he's getting 15 rebounds, and Donovan Mitchell, who is the go-getter, who is the ignition for that team, and Garland still get their numbers. So people's numbers don't go down when Mobley's gone. They keep winning with their numbers same or up. Not that Mobley's bad, but I don't know if he's top 3 player on that team.
He's the best player on the team.
Oh, I can't do that.
This is so.
He is going crazy.
He's the best player on this team.
Crazy.
Hey, Patty, I don't.
Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell is the best player right now. What I said earlier, the highest ceiling, the most upside. The Cleveland only competes for a championship if Evan Mobley is their best player.
Well, you can't measure metaphorical ceiling.
He's taller
or
young or what?
I said about Herder.
Because he's younger. He's taller. He can do more. He's skilled for a 7'1" big man.
4. I mean, you gotta put the caveat that for a 7-foot big man.
For a 7-foot big man. That's what I mean.
Is he the best? Is he a top 3 7-foot big man in the league? Because you got Joker, you got AD, you got Embiid. I don't know. I think
I don't count Embiid no more. I think after Luka trade, that Philly is thinking about, damn, should we trade Embiid now? Like, and just go ahead and break it up?
Are you saying Mobley's better than a healthy Embiid? We got to stop.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I was going to say, we getting sacrilegious here.
I'm not saying that. But Evan Mobley's has the highest ceiling for the Cavs, and they don't win a championship unless he's playing he has to be at least the second best player over Garland, over Allen, and those guys are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think y'all got me talking from a perspective like I'm against Cade, I'm against the other guys. I'm just saying what I see looking forward.
I think you're just a Cavs fan, but metaphorical ceiling, you could say Jaden Ivey has the highest ceiling on Detroit because it's a hypothetical ceiling. And he might, but the now is Cade Cunningham is just that good right now because you can only go off right now. And again, this isn't saying Evan Mobley's bad, but just right now, I don't see – I do see Evan Mobley is better than Jared Allen, but he doesn't do the dirty work Jared Allen does while Jared Allen gets –
But you should see how Allen suffers when Mobley's not there to be out front of Allen and then send people to Allen. That's part of the Cavs defense too.
Well, I mean, Garland gets Allen most of his – if you take away Garland, Allen suffers. If you take away Garland, Mobley doesn't suffer. But because Garland is so good, Allen keeps getting his numbers. So that's why he doesn't skip a beat because Allen is getting his 7 to 10 assists a game. And then Donovan Mitchell, I don't know. He's hit or miss. He's annoying right now. He'll coast some games, they'll win by 40, and some games he'll get like 20 in the first quarter. But take away his explosiveness, as long as Garland's there, Allen will always compete with Evan Mobley as far as the tiers of big man.
It's not even close. Allen and Mobley's not even close. I mean, the Cavs would still be good if Mobley was playing the 5, and they had just like a goon stretch 4 that Isaiah
Stewart.
Somebody like that, yeah. Cavs would still be just as good.
That absolutely, I don't disagree. But I'm just saying they're also just as good when Mobley's out and Allen's there because Garland makes that work. Because Garland sets up Allen so well consistently. Whereas Mobley can create his own shot.
That's how the coaching goes. I mean, they leave Garland and Allen in together. They take Mitchell and Mobley out together. That's the rotation.
Right.
They always have 2 of them on the floor at the same time. Generally, Garland and Allen and Mitchell and Mobley. Those are once they start lineup, the first ones that come out are Mitchell and Mobley.
Facts.
Garland and Allen finish the first quarter, and in the second quarter, you bring back Mitchell and Mobley. They have a great rotation. A lot of good bench players, not great bench players, good bench players that can shoot. And Kenny Atkins' offense is a big thing. The Cavs were good with J.D. Bickerstaff, but now they're better because of offense.
I would argue their bench players are good because of defense. Because outside of LeVert, the rest are really brought in as I wouldn't even say 3-and-D guys. They're the defensive lockdown guys that make up for Mitchell's no defense and not that Garland has no defense, but he doesn't have the defense's backup. Y'all are a well-rounded team. I think y'all might be the only competition to beat Boston, but I also think Boston is coasting until the playoffs start because they've got championship hangover. But once the playoffs start, they kill you with 53s in the first quarter. Like, it is hard. It is hard to keep up with Boston right now when they want to show up.
Yeah, because that's when playoff Jaylen Brown shows up. Before we take our break, let's talk about the rest of the Central Division real quick. So I'm gonna put this standings back up. So the Pacers, they're coming in second in the division at 27-20. They're winners of the last 3 with wins over Detroit Pistons and those same Hawks that are giving the Pistons a little hell right now. Right behind them in the division, yet those Milwaukee Bucks coached by, and I'm gonna say it, Glenn Rivers, not Doc. They are losers of the last 3, and they've been getting rammed.
Hey, yo, no Diddy.
I mean, that was a deer pun.
Oh, right. Yeah, it depends on how you look at it.
It was emphasis. I'm like,
it depends on how you hear it. Like, not everybody gonna catch that one.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I wanted to. It was a double entendre because in their three, yeah, that's another one. In their 3-game losing streak, they lost to the Trailblazers, the Portland Trailblazers, by 13. Then they went down to San Antonio and got destroyed 144-118. Their last game they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies 132-119. They're playing tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And guess what?
It's halftime. That's why they're losing.
Yeah, it's halftime and they're down by 44 points. Oh, no, 30. 34. I'm sorry.
I still, man, I just turned it back to it. It wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad 20 minutes ago? Golly.
78 to 44.
Milwaukee has a backcourt defensive problem. Their front court's great. If you look up centers versus Milwaukee, I'm not going to say they shut them down, but Brook Lopez and Giannis put great D in the front court on teams that use the front court inside scoring more. I think they defenders average the worst shooting percentage versus Milwaukee in the front court. The problem is they can't guard any guards and forwards.
Harry, are you telling me that Glenn's team struggles at defense? Is that what you're telling me?
They definitely struggle in the backcourt defense. I don't know what they can do. I don't know if it's a Dame issue. I don't know.
Dame time?
Action Jackson issue or AJ, whatever. I call him Action Jackson. AJ Jackson. Then Taurean Prince does nothing. Middleton doesn't have his legs under him anymore. When they try to put him in the front court, they need to trade for a 3-and-D guy. Maybe
Kevin Huerter
or Alex Caruso. Thunder have them all. Like that's all Thunder trades for is 3-and-D.
In the Rockets, they have a ton.
The Rockets got a lot of 3-and-D.
Yeah, they got them.
Thompson.
Bucks need to fix that issue because they're so inconsistent. Next week they'll win every game by 20 because they force teams to funnel on the inside, and that's where Giannis and Brook Lopez shine. And then the week after, you'll see Anthony Simons hit 8 threes on him, and why is he wide open every three? Dame just doesn't have the defensive effort. They've got to do something to protect Dame on defense. I don't know what they can do, but they need to trade for defenders off the bench. They can't just be like the Bulls and just keep getting guys that can launch threes all day and call it a day.
All right, so that's our Central Division wrap up. No more talking about the Bucks getting bucked up.
Hey.
That was another deer pun. Y'all don't like them.
Yeah, that was
I like that one a little bit better. I like that one a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a little easier to understand.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
No more puns out of me. Let's go ahead and take a.
Hey, I got a question real quick about the Bulls.
Yep.
So, I think with the trade that happened between the Lakers and Mavs, I think the Lakers are out the Vucci market though. They got to be, right?
Of course.
Why?
But let's talk about that on the other side of this break, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about this on the other side of this break because that's definitely a topic we got to hit. This is for our audio listeners. Our advertisers would love to tell you some great news about stuff you can buy from them. Definitely give them a shot because they make it so that we don't have to ask you for money directly. I don't want to have to open up an OnlyFans. Harry already got one. You don't want to have to this and that.
$3.99 a month.
We'll be right back after these messages.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Okay, so the other thing that happened this weekend in the NBA, massive news. Tate, I know you were probably in bed when the news happened because you're an older fella, and you probably woke up and found out on Sunday morning. But Luka Doncic traded. How just those two words together, Luka traded, just doesn't sound like they should go together. For Anthony Davis. Wow. Tate, how did that news hit you? And were you stunned? Did you think you were being trolled? Did you think Shams had been he got hacked? What happened?
Well, I heard all that stuff next morning, but I saw the trade that night because I was up. I'm a little older, but I was up at 11:30 at night that night. Whenever it came out, I saw that. And I actually came and got stuff ready for the know-it-alls right after that. So I probably was up till 1:30 in the morning getting stuff ready for the next day for the podcast. But nah, man, I was surprised. I was surprised. My biggest surprise in it all was the fact that Dallas settled for so little. If they had opened up the marketplace, they would have had a bidding war with people. But seems like they wanted a specific piece. Nico Harrison was Kobe's main guy at Nike when Kobe was, playing basketball and everything else he was doing. He got Kobe to switch from Adidas to Nike. That was big. So he already had an existing relationship with Rob Pelinka. They kind of been linked, from Kobe through all the years. I think they have a good personal and working relationship. And he identified AD as the piece they needed. Called up Rob. Rob, you want Luka? We want AD and what's the boy name? Max Christie. Mm-hmm. Max Christie, and we'll throw in. Did the Mavericks throw in a one? No, the Mavericks didn't.
Nope.
Somebody threw in a one. Lakers threw in a one, but they got to keep one. They probably could have fleeced them for two if they wanted. They could have probably got both first round picks, which maybe they should have did. But I think it works for both teams. I mean, the Mavs are in it for win now mode. I think because the Cavs have showed the league that two playable bigs is the way to go. With Allen and Mobley, it's a copycat league, right? So you copy the best team that's doing it right now. Oh. So you're going to have the best record in the NBA, B-Falls. What would you have me say?
It doesn't mean anything yet, but I guess.
Well, Kenny Atkinson coaching the All-Star team, and three of his players are on the team. So
wait.
But anyway, that's besides the point.
You're saying Anthony Davis and Daniel Gafford.
And Lively.
I don't think
I'm scared now.
Defensively, that's what
I'm getting at. And AD gets to
finals. Though.
AD gets to go to his natural position. Kyrie gets to handle the ball and make more. Yeah. And they got defensive guys and 3-and-D guys coming off the bench. I don't know if PJ Washington plays at 3 alongside Kyrie and AD and Lively, and if PJ plays at 3, they're a big defensive unit right there. I'm not sure who plays the 2. Who plays the 2 in Dallas?
Clay.
Where Luka go?
Clay.
Oh yeah, Clay.
Dinwiddie, but yeah, Clay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it. I like it for Dallas. From the Laker perspective, it don't do much for them this year. There could be some regression unless I think they got another move in them before Thursday, where they make a trade for some goon big man. I don't know who that is. The buyout market is going to be coming available soon. This is going to sound crazy. It's the buyout market, though. Maybe they go and get Ben Simmons
to be a center.
To be a big. I think the center that they got their eye on is from is it not Vucevic? That the other guy with the crazy name that play for the Wizards right now, right?
Valanciunas?
Valanciunas, thank you. Yeah. I think they got, because he's a little more grimy, a little more defensive oriented. He could be that guy they need. And then, so Ben Simmons might not be the best thing, but he's going to be cheap. So it's just another long wing piece you throw in there to try and see what that looks like, right? Yeah. I think that could mean Reeves is on the trade market. Will Luka come back this week? I hear he might come back at the end of the week, sometime before the All-Star break.
Yeah, they're looking at February 11th right now is what I'm hearing right now, as far as Luka's return. Pick up from right there, B. Foster. Do you think that trade is better for the Mavericks right now, as it makes them a West contender?
So, yeah, I think in the short term, it's a good look for them. It provides some balance. they're always very guard heavy. Obviously, they had Luka and Kyrie, two of the best guards in the league, and now they have more of a. I mean, he's a stretch big, but I mean he can go get you a bucket inside as far as Anthony Davis is concerned. And like I said, that defensive front court with him playing the four next to Gafford is going to be a pretty resilient one. I think in the long term, it benefits the Lakers because they now have a predecessor, assuming he opts into his player option after next season, which I don't see why he wouldn't unless it just all went awry. But it's pretty obvious that Dallas was not buying into his durability in the future. He was, he was putting on all that weight, and he was lazy on defense. And yeah, I did y'all see where when they made the Western Conference Finals where he was drinking a beer and dude took it out of his hands? Like, that was kind of weird. It's like, bro, you don't need any more brews, man.
That was Michael Finley, birthday twin, by the way.
Oh, was that Michael Finley? I don't know why. Oh, okay. They said that he was that Luka was 300 points away from breaking his point record before they traded. I don't know if some of this stuff is rumors and cap, but yeah, I think that there was definitely some trouble. There was definitely some. They weren't seeing eye to eye, but I don't think Luka was aware that it was that serious. He thought he had some time to get some act right. So
it's weird to me how everybody sees this as a good move for the Mavs, because it's 2025 and they're building their team around Kyrie Irving. What sense does that make?
They obviously
this was the worst trade in NBA history. But I'll let y'all cook. I can't believe it.
No. Tell us, why is this the worst trade in NBA history?
Because Anthony Davis was just called street clothes a year ago. Like, what are we talking about? I don't even know where the overweight thing came from. Mavs have finished top 3 in the West like the last 4 years, or not top 3, top 6. And they just coming off a finals run. Why is it bad now? Luka came in out of shape. That's what he does. He came in rookie year with the beer belly, dropping 30, 10, and 10.
He's way bigger now, though, right?
That's fine.
Well, I mean, he's got a calf injury, so I would expect that there's some weight he's got on from the injury.
Tell me that when his numbers drop off. If y'all are saying, his weight and his issues and his injuries are lowering his production, then I'll be like, that makes sense. But if you're telling me this guy's dropping 38 and 8, I'm not even gonna say top 5. I think top 5 is an insult. Top 3 player in the league, because the only guys I can say are definitely better are Joker and Shy. This has nothing to do with being out of shape, insubordination. And then even remember what you just said? You said he was drinking beer during the Western Conference Finals they won. It's not like you're saying he was drinking beer in the Western Conference Finals they lost. This is Mavs being cheap. This is what new ownership does. They just bought the team from Mark Cuban, who's been operating in the red and was okay operating in the red. And also remember, just like with De'Aaron Fox, they offered him a max extension. He's turned them down 3 times. When you turn someone down 3 times, then you cause issues. He knows he's up for the Supermax in the summertime. And even if he's a free agent, there's only one team at the time, not now anymore. There's only one team that could have offered him the Supermax, and that's Dallas. But Dallas wasn't trying to pay that. They wanted to pay the max. He turned them down 3 times, so they trade him to see what they could get, which I think was a horrible way to trade someone, which is why I hated the Nico Harrison to Lakers connection. It's like he's setting up a job for the future for when he inevitably gets fired this year for trading for an Anthony Davis. He'll probably be hurt by playoffs, because people don't realize when you get to a team and a always injured player all of a sudden gets healthy, it's because that staff finally figures out how to make him healthy. That staff finally made him eat right, do this right, work out a certain way. He's going to a whole new team with a whole new training staff. I don't trust his health on a new team. I barely trusted his health on Pelicans. And you expect me to trust his health on the Mavs, who Luka couldn't come back in, who Clay was often injured, Kyrie missed like half the season. This was a horrible trade. I don't know if it's his ego. I just saw BJ Armstrong a couple of days ago make a statement that this trade wasn't even on Nico. He's the Secret Service shielding himself in front of the president. I heard BJ say this is the owners who made the trade because no GM takes calls at midnight. This trade happened at midnight in the dead of night when no one was picking up the phones and no one was talking. BJ's theory was he thinks the new owners of the Mavs and Jeannie Buss either had a bet or something happened where Mavs were like, hey, we're not going to pay him $345 million because we're not going to keep going in the red when we're trying to make a profit, which is why we overpaid for this team. And that's how it went down. So I think it could be that where just Nico's taking all the blame because nothing makes sense about this trade. And because when it is between GMs, the GMs don't talk to the players. The GMs talk to other agents, and then they talk to the teams. So the fact that the agents didn't even know, everyone's running theory. It was the owners being cheap, not wanting to pay Luka, panicking because they're like, hey, if Luka goes in free agent, we just can't offer him $45 million.
So there's a narrative there that needs context.
Go ahead.
Last year, AD played 76 games. Luka played 70. This year,
that was the first time AD's played over 60 in the last 5 years?
You might be right, but that's the most recent history. He's played 42 this year. Luka's played 20. So clearly, I mean, his weight, like we were saying backstage before the show, his weight clearly has to be an issue. I mean, you're right. They don't want to invest $345 million in a guy that productions in the past. We don't know where it's going in the future.
But to be fair, I don't think it's just a Luka thing. I think this is going to be a trend we're seeing with everyone but Shai and Joker. All these stars are going to be coming up to $345 million, and they're going to see a lot of teams moving those guys because right now, for some odd reason, no team wants to pay any of these stars $350 million. I knew Fox wasn't going to get it, even if he became eligible, and I thought for sure Luka was going to get it, but I guess that was just
who's gotten it so far. Who's got that Supermax so far? That's in the league.
No one yet because it's the new salary cap. It's going to be Shai. Shai is going to be the first one to get it.
We got two Celtics who are sitting at 300 right now.
Right, Jalen and Tatum.
Right.
Nobody else.
Nope. No, just those two.
Okay.
And you know what? I think Boston only did it because they announced they were going to sell the team prior to giving them the contract. And I think the new thing with a lot of these owners, the only way they really make money is selling the team. I think a lot of these owners don't make money off owning the team during the season. A lot of the money's made when people overpay for teams. They overpay for teams. Boston was bought for what, $1.6 billion? They're going to sell for at least $4 billion. That's where all their profit is. Their goal is to have the team be good enough to sell it. Look at your favorite team. How long is Dan Gilbert been talking about selling the Cavs? Wouldn't be shocked if he gives your boy Evan Mobley a supermax, and that's
he already did. He already got the rookie supermax.
No, I mean
the
300
this past summer.
That 350, whatever that whoever gets it.
The next one.
Right. It seems like that's the new strategy with the NBA. Look at Phoenix. You give whoever you can, max everyone out, bam, sell the team. I think that's all this is. This is just new ownership, not wanting to pay. I'm sure they like Luka, but they're not married to Luka. They just got there. This is them like, we're not paying him. We think we can win the championship without having to pay one guy $354 million. It just doesn't make sense to move him in the middle of the night when he is you're a top 3 player, you're a star for the next 10 years. I don't think I don't think AD makes Dallas any better than they are. I do think
he definitely makes them better right now.
Better with Luka on the team playing.
Right now he does.
They just made the finals with the same roster without Clay.
I agree that with AD, they are still a formidable team, especially post defense.
Solid,
but to say that they are a better team sans Luka, that's a bridge too far.
Let me ask you this:
come off the finals, I could see that, but they're coming off the finals with the same roster.
Let me ask you this: when AD won the championship, what position did he play?
Power forward.
Power forward, next to Dwight Howard. So you put him next to another big defender. He gonna get more run in the offense, and he's still gonna now he get to play help defense instead of straight up defense, having to play Joker or having to play the best post player on the other team.
There you go. There you go. The Dallas front line: Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Anthony Davis. All of them dudes are forever hurt. None of them dudes can check Joker one-on-one.
Right?
They got to come in waves. So I still don't think, even though I think
When is AD check Joker 1-on-1? Nuggets stay kicking Lakers out. What are we talking about here?
and AD was 5 years younger at that point. That was
Dallas still doesn't have anybody to check Joker with or without AD.
I mean, we had like AD won just first team All NBA last year himself. He was.
That's facts.
He got put out.
Joker was too.
But we moving with selective history, like you with the Evan Mobley take. The way you talk about Evan Mobley, we would think he wasn't on the team last 3 years. That's why they're playing better now. Look at him; he's been on that team. They've been had the same lineup.
This is recency bias. This is recency bias because he's had.
I've always been on Evan Mobley's upside. I mean, the only person I would have traded Evan Mobley for under when he came in the league, I think we had the question about under 24 would have been Ant-Man. That was it. The only player 24 and under, whenever that was. Evan Mobley is just now grade B 24. But yeah, so I'm just that high on Evan Mobley, and I don't want to make a big G bet pay and say watch 5 years from now. You know, you guys will just see, and you'll be like, damn, Tate was on something a while back.
We got a receipt book, so you can do that. Hey, so off of that trade, the other trade, the bigger trade that matters to us, right, in the division. Zach Lavine had been rumored, bandied about to Detroit. Is there any tears, rather, or any upset that you couldn't get Zach to, I guess, be your number two because Tobias just ain't it?
I would have liked it, but I was still kind of worried about what it was genuinely going to take to make that happen.
And as you see, it didn't cost much.
Yeah, because what did they give up?
A bunch of expiring contracts and a pick that they already had.
Well, right, but Fox, they still lost Fox in that deal, though, right?
No, Fox ended up going to the Spurs. I mean, it was a 3-team deal, but I mean, it ain't like let's say Detroit and the Bulls head up made that deal. I don't think it would have cost that much.
Head up, yeah. Hardaway.
It's just more so the Bulls, like as what Harry said earlier in the show. The Bulls don't know how to finesse, and I think that's a Chicago sports problem in itself. You got great talent around the city. Luis Robert and a bunch of others on the South Side playing alleged baseball. You got the Bears had a great young quarterback and they gave him up for a 6th-round draft pick.
Great.
And here's relax, Buckeye, relax, Michigan fan. I don't want to hear it.
The Michigan fan.
I don't want to hear it. Do not do that about Justin. Knock it off. And now you come back to the Bulls. They got a guy who's putting up close to 50, 40, 90, averaging close to 25 points, and they couldn't even get an additional 1st-round pick. It's emblematic to why this team, well, not just this team, but the sports scene in Chicago is just mired in sludge, and why we're all frustrated.
So you think the Bulls should have got more for Zach Lavine?
When do you ever see a guy who's still in his prime, who's averaging 1, close to 25 points, 2, close to 50, 40, 90, 3, healthy, and not go for multiple picks? Mikal Bridges had never done none of that. He got moved for 5. Rudy Gobert, who's going to be a Hall of Fame? I'm not saying Rudy Gobert is trash or anything like that, but he got moved for 6 1st-round picks.
The marketplace has changed.
How did it change so fast? That was just last year.
It was kind of understood.
Luka just got 1 1st-round pick for him. The market changed.
AD is a top 10 player though.
AD is a top 75 all time. So I mean that's takes
true.
Some of the.
But he's 6 years older than Luka.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Luka
you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised by what Jimmy Butler bring back from Miami. His market is way low now. I mean, he might bring back 1 first. I don't see it being more than that.
Yeah, but see, Jimmy's not in his prime anymore, and Jimmy's a bit of a malcontent, so that's a little bit something different, right? Zach is not none of that. Zach is he's at least healthy, still in his prime, and the Bulls cannot capitalize to save their life.
Jimmy, we know about playoffs, Jimmy. He takes teams to finals and plays. Zach doesn't impact winning. There has to be something said about that, too.
Yeah, but Jimmy's 8 points per game during the season. You have to get to the playoffs first. That's the problem with Jimmy. Like, are you paying him that much just to hope you get to the playoffs and then he turns it on?
But don't they always get to the playoffs?
He only takes so much of that.
When did Jimmy Butler's teams not make the playoffs?
I don't know. I have to look that up. I
don't think Jimmy Butler's teams never made the playoffs. I mean, never missed the playoffs.
Right. That's where I'm somewhere around there. 1-2 seasons at most.
Even with the Bulls, I think they always in the playoffs when he was there. That's
in Philly they were, and they decided to get Tobias Harris and let Jimmy go. That was a terrible move. They may have been further along by now had they kept Jimmy.
You're right, Tate. Any team that decides to retain Tobias, not a very good team. So back to those Pistons. So let's talk about what they got going on right now. It is a close game.
The Pistons came back. Hey, going crazy.
Let me turn this on right now.
2-point game. Hawks are up 2 late in the fourth. Trae Young, 28-9. Yee.
And didn't make an all-star, but then look at the record, so I get it.
Kane Cunningham, 26-13. I want y'all to get off my boy Trae. No diddy. He's obviously been snubbed a few times in his career, right? But also he has never played with another all-star. I'm not saying Trae Young is a superstar, an elite superstar at that level, because at that level you would definitely drag your team to playoff series wins, right? He can't do that. He needs at least some other help. So I don't like when people knock on him for his record. I mean, he's never played with another all-star. No, never.
Here's a question no one's asked yet, but you know it's going to come up. Now that Luka got traded, who won between the Trae and Luka trade? It's got to be Trae. It's got to be Trae. It's close.
You hit on some, but Trae has been in, he's been in actual trade rumors before.
It's not even close because Trae not a 5-time first team All NBA.
Does it matter? He's gone. Once you lose that player, like what are we comparing anymore? Last man standing rules in effect, right?
Luka will have done more for Dallas for his time there than Trae will do in Detroit if he stays another 5 years. I mean, in Atlanta, if he stays for another 5 years.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Trae leads in every scoring and assist category in Atlanta history right now.
Are you talking about already?
Oh, Mookie.
I mean, he averages nine assists a year.
Assist wise, yeah. Wait, didn't Pistol Pete go?
He ain't doing it in Atlanta if he was there long.
I would be shocked if Trae isn't top 3 because he got Dominique. Atlanta doesn't have that long of a history outside of Dominique. Mookie Blaylock, he's not better than Trae. So I wouldn't be shocked if Trae is right up there with Luka.
Steve Smith was better.
Than who?
Than Trae.
Stop.
Talk that Detroit shit.
Come on.
Steve Smith was better.
I love Steve Smith. I love Steve Smith better than Atlanta Steve Smith, but he wasn't better than Trae. He wasn't better than Trae.
Nah, I mean, statistically, Trae Young is one of the best Hawks of all time. Statistically.
You got it.
Yeah.
Dominique Wilkins Hawks was battling in the playoffs every year with Larry Bird and them and the Detroit Pistons.
Right.
And
that's why I said Dominique might be the GOAT Hawk, but we'll see when it's all said and done numbers wise, especially in this era where there's less defense and everyone's shooting so many threes analytically. Because you got to remember, Paul Pierce has more threes and more points than Larry Bird. Doesn't necessarily mean it was better, but it's the era statistically.
Wow. I agree with that.
The game is tied right now.
Oh, right. Not no more. Trae just put him up.
Damn, I'm behind a little bit.
Trae is a dog. What was the more sinister matchup between the two? Every time Trae saw the Knicks or every time Luka saw the Clippers? Like you knew Trae was going to put up 40, 10, and 10 on the Knicks, but you also knew Luka, I don't know what Luka has against the Clippers. You know he's gonna put up 40, 20, and 20 on the Clippers.
And the Suns. He always do Booker bowl.
Man.
Yeah, that meme is gonna burn his soul forever. But the thing, I'm taking the Knicks in that, the Trey versus the Knicks in that, because Trey don't lose to the Knicks. The Clippers
last time.
He laughed at everybody. He points. I ain't never seen nobody turn it on like Trey versus the Knicks.
He's rolling dice on the midcourt.
Yeah, that was tough.
Hey, imagine. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say he's disrespectful like that because he's from Oklahoma. He don't know the G code. They don't teach that in Oklahoma.
Imagine him trying that in Detroit.
Messed up.
Isaiah Stewart would knock.
That's what I'm saying.
2P off him.
Isaiah Stewart, he get out of bed waiting for somebody to set trip because he don't want to play basketball no way.
I'm trying to understand how we made the league. They can just come in swinging on niggas.
I don't think he was like that in college though. I don't remember
him in college.
That's what I've said a couple episodes though. He the modern day Charles Oakley. Jokers didn't fool with Charles Oakley back in the day, man.
That's that CTE, man. Somebody hit him upside his head or something, man.
Something.
All right, so before we close up, the trade deadline, a couple of days away, February 6th. What is one move that you would like to see your squad make? I'm gonna start with you, Harry.
Like realistic or wish list?
Let's do wish list.
My wish list is crazy. Realistically, I would like to see us not tank and go after Beal. Because
you're still losing if you get You're still losing. You're still gonna lose, but
I don't disagree. But if we're going to move our stars, let's make it up with other stars. Don't tank for someone.
Star. All right, what's on the wish list?
Oh, the wish list. I hope Wemby pulls a fox and says, "Hey, I want to be on the Bulls." Like, hey, out loud, and throws a monkey wrench in the Bulls' tank plans, like Fox did with Spurs. And we're like, all right, you know what? Let's get Wemby. Let's add Beal. Let's see if Luka wants to come to the Bulls. I want that monkey wrench player to say out loud, I want to be in Chicago on the Bulls.
Okay, no one has ever said that for the last 20 years. I knew I shouldn't have asked you about the wish list because it was going to get ridiculous.
I told you. I got nothing. That's my wish list.
Hey, I know you guys are 40-9, but is there anything you would like to see the Cavs do before the trade deadline?
I wouldn't mind. This is realistic, right? I wouldn't mind seeing them making a move for Cam Johnson without having to give up any of the big four. I think that's realistic. You throw in a Karis LeVert who has an expiring contract. You give him the young boy Tyson, who we drafted in the first round this past year, who's showing himself to be somewhat of a player. You may have to throw in somebody like Niang to make the money work, and maybe even a couple second-round picks. Bring Cam Johnson. That enhances that starting lineup. I wouldn't like losing LeVert. I'm not worried about Niang, and I think that's what I'd like to see. That might even be my wish list as of right now. I'm not willing to say nothing crazy. The other thing I wouldn't mind seeing, we don't have many good backup bigs right now. Tristan Thompson's old. I don't think Dean Wade is a good big. I think you could and to keep the salary down and not reach the threshold this year, so the clock don't start this year. I think you can pick up in the buyout market. I'd pick up, bring Kevin Love back, come off the bench, give you 10, 12 minutes, can stretch the floor also. And I'm willing to gamble for cheap on Ben Simmons just as a piece that can play defense, that can move the ball still from the power forward position. He wouldn't be playing no guard. You got Mitchell and Garland. But just to get him out there as a high IQ basketball player, maybe a change of scenery, he starts to play better. Not what he was supposed to be coming out of college his first couple of years, but he can be better. He'd be a nice 9th, 10th man. So
you don't think he's done mentally, Ben? Because I gave up on the Ben Simmons thing.
Well, I know. I understand what you're saying. I don't discount it. I think that's why it's in the buyout market. It's cheap. Him and Darius Garland are good friends. Maybe having some guy on his team that supports him and got his back, it could make a difference. I just want to see what it look like for the rest of the season.
Gotcha. His offseason highlights are goats here. Off-season Ben Simmons, man.
So,
Yeah,
so
no,
that's what
I
you
don't
call, that's what
disagree.
you're calling it now, Tate? The big four out there in Cleveland? Really? That's what we doing now?
No, who? I didn't say big four.
You did. You said if we can get Cam Johnson without giving up on anybody of the big four.
I said big four or core four. It's the core four. Not Ike a core four, but the core four.
That's great.
Yeah, we can do that now. We're the best team in the league, man.
Okay.
First one to
All right.
40 wins.
40 and 9. I ain't got nothing to say about it. Foster, you guys are trying to stay above 500 tonight.
Cade Cunningham just tied the game with the layup, 26 seconds left. It's a hot game right now.
Oh, you're a little ahead of me then.
You guys are
31 seconds.
Pistons are trying to stay above 500 with this game tonight. Is there a trade out there that you would love to see? The playoff contending Pistons due to push you all ahead in this Eastern Conference the conference. Yeah, Eastern Conference.
I think that the Brandon Ingram situation is kind of a pipe dream. I think it's too much of a risk considering the fact that he's so injury prone and it's an expiring contract.
Dude hasn't played in 2 months. What is up with bro?
Yeah. I don't know what that's about. So I mean, I don't feel good about, especially because it's going to be a rental unless we have in the intentions of giving him a whole bunch of money in the offseason, and for what I can't imagine. So I would settle for a CJ McCollum, a guy that can give you 20 points a game. He can play alongside Cade. He can play. They can stagger his minutes, and he can control the floor while Cade is getting some rest. And he's making a decent amount of money. He's making $30+ million, but we have the salary cap to consume the amount of money that he's making. And then we'd have an additional year with him next year before he hits the free agency. And then we'll just see what we can do with Ivy, who may make a comeback at the end of this year, but more than likely won't be back to next year. So at that point, CJ can either be traded next year, or he can come off the bench, or Ivy can come off the bench. But we definitely need another guy that can go get a bucket and can be a consistent 20 points a game scorer. He's played with a lot of, he's played next to Dame his entire career. So he's no stranger to playing against stars and making his, finding his bucket despite not getting all the touches.
How many more years you got left on his deal?
McCollum, he's got 1 more year next year, and then he's a free agent.
Okay, well, I don't dislike that. I mean, I like that better than Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. Ingram is the quote unquote sexier pick, I'd say. But
Trey doing that on y'all floor, man. We'll see if Isaiah Stewart come out there and bussy.
Wait, it was a deep three. That was a deep play. I think they're making it a 2. Oh, his foot must have been on the line. They made it a 2.
Shout out to C Red Nation in the chats, in the comment section. I don't think close, almost 60 people watching. I got a lot of comments I want to hit up there from C Red Nation. My boy Troy Malone. Let's get Alonzo Mourning as a GM. Bulls need a Miami Heat type culture. E Holiday. Bulls should let D Rose be general manager. I love that.
Just because you're a good player, like
no. I love that. I love that. Calm down.
He's throwing the rest.
Calm down.
He AI somebody. Man, he stomped over somebody.
Oh, man, Trey out the chain. Another.
Oh, it was Beasley. He stomped over Beasley.
Yeah, why is Beasley guarding Trae Young anyway? I don't understand.
Here's a wish, trade deadline wish that I rock with. Bulls get Giannis for Pat Will. Pat Will is a G League player, so
I like that.
That'll be great.
Like that. That's a good trade.
They drew up a play for Tobias Harris.
Oh, the Pistons don't want to win if that's the case. Troy Malone, I wish they had the structure and people in place to turn Dalen Terry into a poor man's Rob, man. Yo. Yeah, that's dope. I'm I'm sure you guys are going to have some trade deadline coverage coming up this week. B. Foster at the Bleachers of Speakers. What you all got cooking up?
Yeah, we're definitely going to be staying in tune with all the trades coming up. I think the Pistons will be pretty active. They were very active last year, but they were just kind of tanking and moving salary around. So, Langdon said that he was going to be taking some calls and looking to be a buyer. So, stay tuned to Bleachers to Speakers and post-game podcasts on our audio aggregators.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to follow that YouTube channel if you like this show, and I hope you do, because why would you stick around this long if you didn't? This show will be broadcast on that channel next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, Mondays evening. Tate, same thing for you. Trade deadlines coming up this week, man. I'm sure the Cavaliers are going to be active in some way, shape, or fashion. You definitely got to you got to strike with the iron's hot. So I know the Cavs are going to do something, try to wrangle this Eastern Conference away from the hated Boston Celtics. So where can everybody check out any opinions and comments coming from you and your channel?
Check us out on the That's Rather Cavalier podcast, wherever you get your audio podcast from, be it Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio. Just search That's Rather FFSN, That's Rather Cavalier podcast. And check us out. Give a thumbs up, give a follow, and we'll go from there. That's it.
Yeah, we got a final out of Detroit. The Atlanta Hawks were able to go ahead and win that game. They won 132-130. Cade Cunningham finished with 30 points and 14 assists, only 3 turnovers in a losing effort. But they can't win them all, right? The Pistons go to 25-25 on the season, still battling for a top 6 spot in the East. Harry, thanks for showing up. You are a well-rounded guy here at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. You usually coming up with our Sox shows, but you also do put in some Bulls work too. What's you got any Sox stuff coming up? Pitchers and catches report soon. Catch Harry and my boy JJ3 with all the White Sox shows coming up to discuss the White Sox possibly, maybe, more than likely, third consecutive 100-loss season. Wow. So, thanks for everybody watching, the close to 50 people watching the Central Division Showdown show. We will be back next Monday with another recap of the trade deadline and the Central Division, the week that was. Thanks for watching.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.